Y'all, Omid Scobie said, mention it all. I'm not going to do the legs. If you need a solve, something to take away the irritation that is the festering wound of royal journalism, take it from a journalist who sees and hears exactly what you're talking about and agrees. This is an opinion piece that came out. King Charles deserves to be scrutinized as heavily as politicians, just like Harry and Meghan were. Yes. I bow down to our beautifully coiffed king. So yes, this is an opinion piece, but it's an opinion piece by someone that moves in these circles, that felt firsthand the wrath that can occur if you write something that the British royal family does not like. And it's simply a call for good, fair, and balanced journalism, which should not be controversial to ask for. It should be the bare minimum of what we expect from reporters. It opens by talking about how this time last year, Charles, then the Prince of Wales, was weathering one of the worst royal storms in his career. Dubious financial contributions had been uncovered to his charities. It was so bad that, quote, a palace aide was forced to publicly pledge that Charles would never again accept bags of cash to his charities. Yeah, good call. And then in the previous year, one of Charles's charities and a Saudi billionaire was investigated by the London's Metropolitan Police Service. And the reason he brings this up is because the coverage on it is virtually non-existent. As Omid writes, quote, while there has been little new information from authorities, a lack of updates has never usually been an obstacle for individuals on the royal beat. He went there. But it's true. Even look at the recent Dior rumor. That wasn't even a real thing. It was a rumor that turned into a story so that people could report on Harry and Meghan and this larger narrative of things crashing down around them, but it wasn't actually news. Lack of facts is usually not a deterrent to these reporters. A criminal investigation of one of the king's charities is somehow overshadowed anytime Meghan walks out of the house to take a hike, which isn't often. He also mentions how in the months leading up to the coronation, there were these breathtaking pieces about King Charles and the monarchy, but no references to the scandals that he had been embroiled with just that year. Literally, according to this piece, the prince had been apologizing for it 70 days prior to becoming king. Kind of seems like a big deal. He goes on to write, quote, this is nothing new. Though heavyweight scoops about members of the family are still broken by other sections of the media, royal journalism, I like that. You gotta copyright that. The regurgitation of press releases and steady supply of briefing memos sent out by royal aides has become the tried and trusted reporting styles for a number of royal correspondents when it comes to protecting precious relationships with those at the palace. I think a lot of us had some sense of this, but to see it so plainly in writing by someone who covers the royal family is breathtaking. And again, I have to ask, where is the line between PR and journalism? I really like this part. Quote, not wanting to bite the hand that regularly feeds is why those with some of the deepest access and strongest relationships are often the ones sharing the very least, end quote. If you've watched any of my royal appointments, which is primarily Camilla Tominey talking about royal news, you might see that there, because rarely are any of the big issues affecting the working royals or any scandals or any problems what is reported on. If she does say something even maybe remotely critical, she always couches it in something conciliatory or positive to give a better spin to it. But not when it comes to Harry and Meghan, who she writes about more than half of the time. I'd say 75% or more of the time, who aren't even working royals. So if you're afraid of risking those relationships, it really makes it impossible to report in an impartial way. Which is why what's funny is, even though this is an opinion piece, it's one of the more truthful pieces I've seen in quite some time. Because he talks about his first major punishment that came from the royal family after he released the book Finding Freedom. Sources told him that Prince William was so mad that, among other things, he wanted Omid barred from future engagements where Prince William was in attendance. And part of this opinion piece is to pitch his new book, which, job well done. I am ready to read this book. He says Endgame, which is this book coming out in November, is an unfiltered investigation into the current state of the royal family. Okay, do go on. Also, he brings up the fact that there has been virtually no coverage since Sophie's motorcade incident, which killed a woman, which Yes, I have not been able to stop thinking about that. There is no information out there. I have so many questions. I literally had someone on the ground who walked the route for me, took video and photos, and the math ain't mathin' in some cases, but I need to look into it more. But it's a great example of, yeah, this seems like news that we should be reporting on, and yet silence because of the need to protect those relationships. At the heart of this is a call to get back to the basics of journalism. And I hope people hear that message.